All right. So next, thank you very much, Dr. Amreshwar, as well as everybody for your patience. So next we have Dr. Hugo Kelly Forrest. So he's the principal member or the board of directors in ICOM Ecuador, and he will be presenting on interactive applications for collaborative objects. Thank you, Dr. Hugo.
Okay.
Please.
Please, I can
Oh,
share the screen.
sure.
Yes, good.
Please give
Yeah.
me a few
Okay. Thank
minutes.
you.
Yes, please.
Okay. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for the invitation to take part in this series of conferences for International Museum Day, The Power of Museum. The future of museums. Uh, my name is Hugo Calle Forrest, first main vocal ICOM Ecuador. Topics to talk about in this brief lecture, right? The museological plan, basic concepts and phases of the museological plan, and responsibilities in its drafting. Okay? The strategic plan will determine the future of the museum. It must include specific actions to ensure that you get where you want to be. For the plan to work, it must be realistic and in regular use. Be a living document, the plan must involve staff, the governing body, and other key actors such as the local community. That is the most important, right? Museums currently face many choices and challenges, such as uncertainty about the future, difficulty obtaining resources, increased competition with other cultural organizations, right? Increased expectation from visitors, increased demand for accountability from local government, and at its core, developing a strategic plan helps to anticipate problems and recognize opportunities. You need staff and management around clear governance, allocate resources to agreed priorities, demonstrate organizational commitment, vision, and responsibility. The strategic plan allows to establish the direction that the museum must take. It describes the objectives for the short term, the medium, and long term, up to 10 years, right? A museological plan is more than the structuring of a collection or a set of museum contents. It has to do with the identity of its existence as a museum and its collection, with the recipients of the content today and forever, as long as the institution continues to exist. The functions of the museums are internal, such as acquisition, research, and conservation, as well as external exhibition, education, and dissemination. They are ones that define the tasks according to the collection that it guards. The current size of the museum required its managers to define the institution from a conceptual point of view in order to serve as a basis for the establishment of its work plans, priorities, and future objectives. The elaboration of the museological plan, both from the creation of a new museum and the rethinking of an existing one, is necessary to the organization of the internal work of the museum, the relationship with administrative and political leaders, and the definition of the projects. To help us in the initial development of a project and begin to determine the components of it, the following question can be answered. What, the topic, what do you want to do in a general way, why, justification based on market research, for what, the purpose and objectives, who, the managing organizations for whom, the target community, how, the strategies, and above all, the activities, when, the time of realization, the schedule, where, the place of realization, physical space, with what, management, in the production process, furniture, how much, the budget, right? They, you can see here, really, let me check. Okay. A museum planning process, a institutional plan that it includes mission, vision, strategy, program plan, forensic capacity, flexibility, study, right? But it's very important to earn the facility master plan, where it includes planning goals, principles, assumptions, related to the collections, to the people or visitors, internal people, external people, visitors, local community, right? And operations. Uh, this, the principal idea are the video requirements, with planning documents, budget, schedule in this first phase of the museological plan. In the implementation, it's very important to arm a project management in order to determine the site selection, design and construction, operational, run-up, and cost and cash flow. And then we can really think in the opening day, celebration, testing, and refreshment. In the other picture, you can see a diagram or the phases of the museological plan, right? Museum planning process phases, right? Here we really follow the museological plan that is really a purpose from Spain, ICOM Spain, right? Where a museum insights typically works in the first three phases of a major project, with the bulk of our work concentrated in the definition phase. That is the first phase definition of the institution. The work of a major museum project typically takes place in five phases in this first part, right? Beginning with the initial idea and ending with implementation. The second phase is the most crucial, and it's when the major decisions about the project are made. Juan Carlos Fernandez is going to talk about the second phase related to the programs, right? In this first place, we have to consider the conceptual approach, right? The analysis and evaluation related to the history of the museum, of the history of the local community, the local context, right? Local collection, communication and diffusion, security, human resources, economic resources, evaluation. In the second phase, really refers to the programs, right? The programs could be institutional, programs about collections, right? Um, research, conservation, about exposition, communication and diffusion, security, right? And human resources and financial resources too. Also, in the second part is really formed by programs and projects, right? And the projects really are oriented to the description of solutions. Some programs that Juan Carlos I'm going to talk about the development of those projects and the budget, right? I really would like to share to you my experience because I have to earn two museological plans in Ecuador. In the last one, it could be the case of Babahoyo, right? City Hall of Babahoyo, the museological plan, the case of the Municipal Museum of Babahoyo, where we have to think in the last, present, and future of the cultural context of the local community. We really work with the community. We really apply the social museology theory in this plan. We was really centered in the cultural heritage of the community, and we work with that territory, right? So we talk about the social, cultural, and political context of Babahoyo, the most important historical backgrounds, Babahoyo's contribution to the country, in this case to Ecuador, in agricultural production, right? And also the cultural context of this museum is very rich in culture. We have different archaeological sites, but they are in total abandonment of according to the cultural heritage management principles, right? Um, in that case, occur the same with the historical buildings that are completely abandoned by the cultural institutions, the public uh, sector in this territory in Ecuador. In that case, you can see the picture of the Olmedo House. That is a historical building that is considered cultural heritage of this city. It was the mission of the city hall from the city hall of the museum of Babahoyo City. We are the museum project of the municipal GAT. GAT means the government of Babahoyo that seeks to create spaces for coordinated work between members to position the community, protect and safeguard heritage, and give collective responses to their needs or problems. It was really the mission. After that, we worked with the restoration of the old municipal palace. It was a historical building when really we formed the first museum of this city. You can see here the historical picture, and you can see now the new the restoration of this historical place. Then we continue with the making of the collection. It was really a complex, very complex work. We really work with the local community, with multi-professional. The collection is for by archaeological, anthropological, and arts, documentary. And then we continue with the process cultural programs. We make research of field and documentary, development of cultural production and diffusion. Uh, in the phase one, according to the investigation, we really make in files historical, local file historical in Babahoyo, in some libraries, public and private, files communal, virtual network, individual files too, right? Also, in the second phase, we continue with the process of we made a little heritage on the website, museological script, a museographic script, didactic games, and in the last phase, culture within the framework of exhibitions, theater, cultural arts, dance, poetry, literature, photography, and cinematography, according to the local cultural context of Babahoyo. In the phase three, socialization and diffusion, it will work with the communities, local community, dissemination in the media, campaign on social networks. And the educational programs will really are a methodology education through museological scripts, constructivist. We really use the constructivism like an educational method. Okay, we also we according to this theory we manage the mediation, cultural mediation. The museum public was oriented to the children and youth, national visitors, adults and third and foreign visitors. And also we really arm in the museological plan the extramural cooperation, national and international cooperation, according to the network with other local museums of the Los Rios province, because Babahoyo is located in the coastal of Ecuador, exactly in Los Rios province. The national cooperation was work with local university, with the Ministry of Culture and Heritage of Ecuador, with ICOM, cultural managers, artists, and producers cultural, and also with the historical archive of Guayas province. It was a permanent exhibition, okay, that galleries, that we work, and also we have different cultural activities. It was the first history seminar program, Memories of Santa Rita Babahoyo, okay. We rescue the history of the local community. Remind that it was the first museum in this city, right? It was a permanent exhibition program. Also, we work with the art exhibitions with local artists. There are some example of temporary exhibitions programs where really participate in the museum some national, international, and uh, local artists. Okay, there are some example of in that case art exhibitions, right? That we work in the museum, right? You can see also we after the inauguration of the exhibition of arts, we really earned some conference with the local community about the exposition. They interact with the artists. Also, there is a second important program of the museum. It was the itinerant exhibition, itinerant museum exhibition, right? This museum really traveled to the different uh, locations of the province, right? Where the local community participates. Uh, Also, they work with different educational activities. It was really a very good experience. Really rescue the cultural, the local tradition of every location. Okay. Also, we really make some contents about photography in the rural locations of the province through the museums. We have really armed some programs of lecture cycles, some conferences, some lectures about museums and heritage, the new roles in the society of the 21st century. There is an example of the different conference in the museum about where cultural diversity workshop in Los Rios province. That is the museum club, the Friends of the Museum Club, right? That we really form here. Really work with the local community. Um, there are other interesting programs, the fun trips. The purpose of this program is tourism, to develop that tourism in in Babahoyo. Okay, most important travel agents in order to visit the city, the museum, and the different extramuros programs of the museum, because we work in the museum and outside different specific programs, right? Uh, I will continue with the countries has really has a very good response response in close to Babahoyo City. In that case, it was the Cachari, and also other programs that was centered in local traditions, like in that case, this is a tradition in December, when the local community works with different elements that are going fire in this tradition in the month of the December. They were inspired in cultural symbols of their identity, cultural identity, and they are the artworks of them that they really produce during this month, right? And that is very interesting. That is the cinema foro, when we really project some and some contents the population, right? That is the cultural agenda in October. We work in every year, especially October, that we are done. It's about the programs that were included into the museological plan.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good night, depending on where you join us. I would like to thank Mohammad Akhter Khaveh, the ICOM ASPAC, for the invitation to this important virtual international conference in occasion of International Museum Day, and Oscar Centurion for the coordination, which has its theme the power of museums, and also to greet our colleagues who will share this ICOM family forum of ICOM Bangladesh, ICOM Pakistan, ICOM Nepal. To all the attendants, thank you for your presence. I apologize a thousand times because my English is not so good. Thank you very much for your understanding. My name is Juan Fernández Catalán, President of ICOM Ecuador. Thank you for your attendance. My friend Hugo. This picture is a many girls typical dresses of Ecuador. This picture is the principal picture for the International Museum Day and ICOM. Okay, the conceptual approach must be considered among other points. Message to be transmitted and based that will guide the activity of the museum, the achievement of its objectives, aspects that define the uniqueness of the institution by the specificity museum panorama framework that make up this thematic, logical, geographical, museum scope and networks in which it is framed local, national, international. Leadership programs, architectural program, exhibition program, dissemination and communication program, security program, human resource program, and economic institution program is composed proposal, proposal of the name the museum and its classification to legal administrative situation, origin, formation, formation of collections and sites. Very important. Existence of museological plans or local, regional, national, and international level. National and international organization to which it belongs. Different for different institutions or situations in Ecuador. Continue definition of the ownership of the collections, characteristics and typology, increase of collections, increase in collections in the last 2 years, evolution and of collection document systems, status of progress of the inventory, cataloging, and computerization, conditions of conservation in reserve is very important. Research, status of research collection, existence of technical staff, research projects, relationship with university departments and other research bodies. Conservation, general criteria for preventive conservation and restoration collections. The architectural program, headquarters, locations, history of the buildings, hours of the buildings, historical documentation, space, public area without collections, public areas, internal area with collections, and internal area without collections. Spaces in all the museums. Accesses and circulations. Spaces, surface description and analysis of accesses and circulations of cultural goods of visitors and staff of the museum. Facilities, environmental conditions, lighting, electricity, plumbing, and communication and computerization. Exhibition program, exhibition of communication, collections in the current exhibition, transmission of the information of the exhibition, texts, multimedia elements, audio guides, by videos, infographics, app, the interactive elements, available state of conservation and maintenance, possibilities of reuse of reduced economics is important, reuse of museographic elements, operation and accessibility, adaptation in route and or content for disabled people, degree of accessibility, diffusion and communication program, public studies, visitor management, visitor to the temporary exhibition, users of other services, shop, coffee, restaurant, service charter, accessibility, service available through the internet, scheduling of activities, attention to the public, temporary exhibition, and its headquarters and outside it. Security program is very important in the museum. Security organization, security plans, and writing responsibilities, zoning of the building by security levels, functions and staffing of surveillance personnel, fire and emergency protection, emergency plan, protection against antisocial acts, CCTV, closed circuit television, cameras, number, tag, distribution and provision with video sensors, video matrix, number of inputs and outputs, and video multiplexers, monitors, and analog or digital recording. Organizational structure and functional organization, charts, staff, list of jobs, temporary staff, civil servants, labor, temporary in the case of public administration, function and evolution, external contracts, technical assistance, cleaning, maintenance. Economic resource program, income forms of financing of the museum in charge of the public budget or the managing administration of the budget of consortia, foundations, income generated by the service of the museum itself, tickets and prices, other income, shop, reproduction rights, rental of space, public subsidies, private contributions, sponsorships, donations, contribution from the Association of Friends of the Museum, studies carried out to attract income investment, increase in collections, investment in real estate works, construction, equipment, other investments, other expenses. This picture is the Cooperation International Corporation for the Andean Summit of Museums of the Americas in Quito, Ecuador in 2018. Evaluation. Evaluation is a systematic process with which obtained about the results, expected or not, and the operation of the cultural project to know to what extent the objectives are achieved and the production is development. Type of evaluation,